Welcome friends. In addition to the extension of the oxidizing and the reducing properties of hydrogen peroxide, some of the important oxidizing properties which are helpful for the further study of the properties of hydrogen peroxide. It is acting as good oxidizing agent, whereas on reaction with lead sulfide, it is converted to lead sulfide. See, lead sulfide, whereas sulfur is maintaining there -2 as the oxidation state. This sulfur on reaction with hydrogen peroxide, whereas hydrogen peroxide here it is acting as oxidizing agent, it is acting as source of the oxygen and it will be converted to water followed by oxygen atom. That oxygen atom combines with the lead sulfide. 4 oxygen atoms combines with the lead sulfide and it is converted to lead sulfate. Sulfur of -2 oxidation state, that is sulfide of starting material, is converted to sulfur of +6 oxidation state with the oxidation state of +6, that is sulfate formation takes place, and hydrogen peroxide, every oxygen is having -1 as the oxidation state. That -1 oxidation state is converted to -2 as the state in water as well as the sulfate. Thus it is a redox reaction. In this reaction, the lead sulfide dissolved paper is having black in color, a black stain is present with respect to the lead sulfide. And this lead sulfide on exposure towards the hydrogen peroxide, that black stain disappears and it becomes almost all white, otherwise the colorless. If a chemical reaction will perform, that will be converted to lead sulfate, a white color precipitate. Whereas on the paper, the lead sulfide stain is there. This lead sulfide stain is converted to lead sulfate, which is of colorless, otherwise white in color. Thus, it is used for the identification of hydrogen peroxide presence. And secondly, the another one important method used for the identification of hydrogen peroxide is, this is potassium iodides. On reaction with hydrogen peroxide, iodine is going to be liberated. This iodine on reaction with the starch solution, that will be converted to sodium iodide followed by sodium thiosulfate. So the paper dipped with the potassium iodide followed by the sodium thiosulfate. Yes, a solution of potassium iodide and the sodium thiosulfate, which is dipped with some paper. That paper, if it is exposed towards the hydrogen peroxide, whereas potassium iodide on reaction with the hydrogen peroxide here it is acting as oxidizing agent and it converts the potassium iodide to iodine. Whereas this iodine, once again on reaction with the sodium thiosulfate, just iodine reacts. Sodium thiosulfate is not a great oxidizing agent. Yes, the sodium thiosulfate once again combines with the sodium iodide. The sodium iodide, that is iodine on reaction with the sodium thiosulfate, iodine is converted to sodium iodide and sodium thiosulfate on its own undergoes oxidation to sodium tetrathionate, and the solution, otherwise it appears in the form of blue in color. Thereby we can also identify the presence of hydrogen peroxide. Yes, hydrogen peroxide is there, oxidizing agent is there. Because without oxidizing agent, potassium iodide is not converted to iodine. Whereas if iodine is there, then iodine on combination with the sodium thiosulfate, iodine undergoes reduction, sodium thiosulfate undergoes oxidation. Whereas that iodine trapped by the amylose gives the blue color. That's what blue color indicates the presence of oxidizing agent, that may be the hydrogen peroxide. Similarly, permanganometry, potassium permanganate is having highest possible oxidation state, good oxidizing agent. Whereas that potassium permanganate on reaction with the hydrogen peroxide undergoes oxidation and it is converted to oxygen. Whereas this potassium permanganate manganate ion, where manganese is maintaining +7, is reduced to manganese of +2. That leads to the formation of potassium sulfate, manganese sulfate and the oxygen. That will occur in presence of acidic medium, that is KMnO4 plus the hydrogen peroxide followed by sulfuric acid gives the manganese sulfate followed by potassium sulfate, oxygen as well as the water. In this, whatever the purple color, otherwise the pink color is there for the potassium permanganate, the pink color disappears. That disappearance is due to hydrogen peroxide and the amount of hydrogen peroxide can be estimated. The discussed 3 tests are not specific for the hydrogen peroxide. These are common for any of the oxidizing agent. Hydrogen peroxide also these can fit. Now we will go for the specific tests, only those are given by the hydrogen peroxide. Then we will go for the estimation methods. Suppose if hydrogen peroxide is identified, then how much quantity of hydrogen peroxide is there, how to calculate that estimation we will do. The specific tests those are used for the identification of hydrogen peroxide is, yes, this should be very special. Not only the oxidizing, every oxidizing agent, not the every oxidizing agent, only hydrogen peroxide can work out this. And in this, a special identification is there, either that may be a precipitate or it may be giving some colored compound. Thereby these of all are known as the specific test. Here, hydrogen peroxide on reaction with the potassium dichromate. Potassium dichromate is a good oxidizing agent. But here, in presence of the hydrogen peroxide, even potassium dichromate also undergoes oxidation, and that leads to the formation of chromium related peroxy compound, that is chromium peroxide formation takes place. In these, peroxy bonds are there, and these this compound is soluble in ether and gives blue in color, whereas that peroxy compound is having structure CCO5, that is CrO5, chromium with the 2 peroxide oxygen bonds followed by the double bond O is present, overall 5 oxygens is present. In general, its oxidation state will be, generally it maintains 6, but here due to having of these many hydrogens, we may consider it as pseudo oxidation state of 10. Hence the balanced equation is K2Cr2O7 in presence of acidic medium, sulfuric acid followed by 4 hydrogen peroxides, because in the beginning chromium is maintaining +4 as the +6 as the oxidation state. The pseudo state is converted to +10 state, hence it requires difference of 4. That 4 is coming from the 2 hydrogen peroxide molecules, whereas here 2 chromiums are there, hence balanced equation is consisting of 4 hydrogen peroxide molecules. This blue colored layer formation, pyridine followed by the ether, is taken as the solvents, whereas that pyridine ether layer is having blue in color. That blue color formation is due to chromium peroxide. This chromium peroxide formation indicates the oxidizing agent is hydrogen peroxide. Similarly, another one special test used for the hydrogen peroxide is titanium sulfate. Titanium, the D black second element, that is scandium titanium, maximum the oxidation state is 4, hence it can combine with the 2 sulfates and maintaining +4 as the oxidation state. This particular titanium sulfate on reaction with hydrogen peroxide, that leads to the formation of pertitanic acid. Pertitanic acid is that one in which titanium is having 2 OH connectivities followed by 1 peroxide bond is there, that is H2TiO4. This particular titanium pertitanic acid is having orange colored solution. This orange color is due to just hydrogen peroxide, not the other oxidizing agents. Only hydrogen peroxide is having ability to form the titanium sulfate towards the pertitanic acid, which is having this particular orange color. Estimation of hydrogen peroxide. Thus, the concentration of how much of hydrogen peroxide is present, that has to be estimated for some times. For that, we will take the help of iodometry. Iodometry is indirect amount of iodine is going to be given. That is, what we are doing is, I know certain volume of hydrogen peroxide. Its value is known to me, but its concentration is not known. I want to calculate its concentration. That's what my motto is there. That particular amount of a small known quantity of hydrogen peroxide is allowed to react with excess quantity of the potassium iodide. Potassium iodide is huge is taken because it should present as excess reagent and hydrogen peroxide is present as limiting reagent. Such kind of care has to be taken. Here indirectly we are producing iodine, hence indirect production of iodine followed by its estimation based calculations are said to be the iodometric. Whereas ID metric stands for known concentration of iodine help we will take, and that particular method of estimation of certain things with respect to the known amounts of iodine is said to be the iodometric, but this is iodometric. Whereas on reaction with potassium iodide followed by the hydrogen peroxide, which is an oxidizing agent, it oxidizes the potassium iodide to iodine. The corresponding balanced equation is 2 molecules of potassium iodide on reaction with 1 molecule of hydrogen peroxide gives corresponding potassium hydroxide 2 molecules followed by iodine. This iodine, whichever is liberated, this depends on the limiting quantity of the hydrogen peroxide. Whereas this iodine liberated is now allowed to react with the known concentration and known amounts, because I know the fixed concentration I am titrating with the help of some burette. whereas known concentration and known amount of sodium thiosulfate help is taken with starch as indicator, and in that this is going to be titrated. So therefore here what happens is this sodium thiosulfate undergoes oxidation with respect to the liberated iodine, and that leads to the formation of sodium iodide followed by sodium tetracyanide formation takes place. In that, starch is used as indicator. Starch is having amylopectin and amylose and the amylopectins as the units in that. If suppose the total iodine is equivalent amount of iodine is going to be reacted with the hypo sodium thiosulfate, then if one drop of iodine is excess is present, that combines with the starch and it forms a starch iodine molecule is trapped in the amylose and the amylopectins, and that gives the blue color. The blue color is the identification of the end point. Thereby from the equivalence method we can calculate the total amount of hydrogen peroxide, thereby concentration can be known. Whereas the balanced equation is iodine on reaction with the sodium thiosulfate is giving in the presence of starch as indicator, sodium iodide followed by sodium tetracyanide formation takes place. Here, if you look at the known concentration and the known amount of hypo we are having, and the known value and the unknown concentrations of hydrogen peroxide solution we are having. If I take the ratio, here 1 molecule of iodine is produced here. This 1 molecule of iodine is reacting with 2 molecules of sodium thiosulfate. Suppose if I take iodine as common, so iodine equivalents are this. This iodine is produced from 1 molecule of hydrogen peroxide. So therefore 1 molecule of hydrogen peroxide is reacting with 2 molecules of sodium thiosulfate. That's what the molecules chemical equivalent ratios are. 1 of hydrogen peroxide versus 2 of sodium thiosulfate. If I apply the law of conservations and the law of equivalences, that will becomes equal to m1 v1 by n1 will becomes equal to m2 v2 by n2. m1 is molarity of hydrogen peroxide, volume of hydrogen peroxide is v1, n1 is the stoichiometric coefficient, whereas m2 is the molarity of sodium thiosulfate, that I said concentration is known, v2 is the volume of the sodium thiosulfate consumed is also known, n2 is the stoichiometric coefficient, that is 2. By applying the logics, m1 is unknown, remaining all things are known, we can calculate m1. m1 is the molarity of the hydrogen peroxide. In that way, hydrogen peroxide can be estimated. The other estimation method used for the estimation of hydrogen peroxide is permanganate metric, whereas in this we are using potassium permanganate, which is having pink in color, and potassium permanganate of known concentration and volume are present, and this is reacted with a known volume of unknown concentration containing hydrogen peroxide. Setup is made in such a way. When the reaction occurs, potassium permanganate undergoes reduction and hydrogen peroxide undergoes oxidation, whereas KMnO4 of +7 is converted to +2 state. Hydrogen peroxide of every oxygen of -1 oxidation state is converted to, here free oxygen is liberated, that is what, O of 0, -1 is converted to 0, hence it is oxidation. Overall reaction is redox reaction. If you look at the balanced equation, that is 2 KMnO4 followed by 5 hydrogen peroxide plus 3 hydrogen plus sulfuric acid molecules gives to the formation of K2SO4, 2MnSO4 plus here 5 water molecules from the hydrogen peroxide and the 3 water molecules from the sulfuric acid, 8 water molecules followed by 5 O2 to balance the things also. Here, if I look at the quantities, those are participating in the balanced equation. One is KMnO4, second one is hydrogen peroxide. Whereas the balanced minimum moles ratio, if I take, this is 5 times and this is 2 times and this is 5 times. If I apply law of equivalence, if I apply law of conservation of equivalence, so therefore m1 v1 by n1 will becomes equal to m2 v2 by n2. m1 stands for molarities of the KMnO4, v1 stands for volumes and n1 stands for stoichiometric coefficient. Similarly, m2, v2, n2 all stands for the molarities, volumes and the stoichiometric coefficients of the second reagent, and that is hydrogen peroxide. Whereas here n2 is known as, where is n2? This is n2. n2 is n factor of KMnO4. It is near to the n factor, but in this case it is exactly equal to the n factor, because the change in oxidation number occurs from +7 to +2 implies what, 5. That 5 is present over here. n2 is n factor of first component and n1 is n factor of second component. If I rearrange this equation, m1 n2 of v1 will becomes equal to m2 n1 of v2. Whereas this is n factor of the same component, molarity into n factor will results into normality. So therefore this is n1 normality of the first component, n2 normality of second component. Thus it will becomes equal to n1 v1 is equal to n2 v2. Thus either you can, if you want, you can calculate molarity. If you want, you can calculate the normality. Thereby you can expect the amount of hydrogen peroxide present in the system. Amount of hydrogen peroxide present in a particular quantity and concentrations of it, because all concentrations and all other things directly gives the information of the quantity of hydrogen peroxide present. But hydrogen peroxide is a special case. Here on heating hydrogen peroxide, oxygen gas is liberated. So therefore with respect to the regular units like molarity, normality and the volume percentages, the volumes, the many volumes of oxygen gas liberated is also is a concentration unit. In that way also the hydrogen peroxide quantity can be expressible. Let us go for the reaction. What happens when hydrogen peroxide is heated? Hydrogen peroxide on heating, otherwise hydrogen peroxide under high temperature with respect to the metals as catalyst undergoes decomposition in such a way that leads to the formation of water followed by oxygen. If I write the balanced equation, 1 mole of hydrogen peroxide is converted to 1 molecule of water, that is 1 mole of water plus half mole of oxygen. This is 1 and this is half. If this is 34 grams, this will becomes equal to 16 grams, half mole of oxygen. Whereas 1 mole of hydrogen peroxide is responsible for production of half mole of oxygen. As being it is dibasic acid, as we know from the beginning, that is 16 grams of oxygen at STP conditions, which occupies a volume of 11.2 liters. So this is 1 molar of hydrogen peroxide, which is equal to 2 normal. This 2 normal is producing 11.2 volumes of oxygen. The volume is referred in such a way that from 1 unit of volume of hydrogen peroxide solution, how many units of volumes of oxygen gas is liberated. That is the reference for the volume calculations of hydrogen peroxide. Whereas for this 1 mole is present in 1 liter, that is 34 grams is present in 1 liter. If I made that one for 100 ml, then that is said to be what? Weight by volume percentage, that is strength. So therefore that strength is the amount of substance present in 100 ml. In 1000 ml this is 34, in 100 ml this is 3.4. So therefore the 1 mole related relations are like this: 1 mole of hydrogen peroxide, which is equal to 2 normal. This 2 normal in terms of volumes, if I express, that will becomes equal to 11.2 volumes, which is also equal to 3.4 grams per the 100 ml, that is 3.4 as weight by volume percentage, which is also known as strength. Thus if I write in the form of a table, molarity, normality, that is weight by volumes implies strength, as well as volumes, this is strength, that is volume percentages. Generally we can say volumes, 10 volumes, 20 volumes, etc. 1 molar, which is equal to 2 normal, which is consisting of 34 grams in 1000 ml, and indirectly it is 3.4 grams in 100 ml, which is known as strength, and this is having a volume capacities of 11.2 volumes. Whereas if I make 10 volumes of hydrogen peroxide, the meaning is its molarity is 0.893 and its normality is 1.786 and its volume strength is 3.306 and its volumes are 10 volumes. 10 volumes of hydrogen peroxide, the meaning is it is, as per the molarity is concerned, 0.893, as per normality is concerned, it is 1.786. This is the way the concentration units of the hydrogen peroxide are present and are interrelated with the one another. Structure of hydrogen peroxide. As we know, hydrogen peroxide is dibasic acid. It can lose just 2 protons and it maintains open book structure. And these structures are differed in the solid state as well as the liquid and vapor state, because in solid state it forms the hydrogen bonding. That hydrogen bonding is not present in the vapor state. So therefore, due to that particular hydrogen bonding, the bond lengths and the dihedral bond angles and the bond angles will be different. Structure remains as it is. It maintains open book structure. A book in the open format, page 1 is there, page 2 is there, and the mid oxygen connectivity is there, and it is connected with OH present in one page and another OH is present in another page. And its structure is same almost all in the solid as well as the liquid state, where it can form the hydrogen bond. Whereas in vapor state, independent peroxide molecules are there due to higher energy. No attractive forces are present between them. No significant attraction forces are there. As a result, the structural features to certain extent changes. Whereas if it participates in hydrogen bonding, what happens? This hydrogen peroxides OH is involved in bonding implies what? Here this bond is enlarged. Similarly here oxygen is also involved in hydrogen bonding with the others. So therefore here what happens is electron density over the oxygen is also decreases due to these reasons. And moreover, if hydrogen bond is present, bond pairs are adjusted within the small space, so therefore bond angles of dihedral type decreases and the other bond angles are goes on increasing. Let us have a look related to the angle. Dihedral angle, the angle between the page 1 to page 2, that imaginary angle present between the page 1 to page 2 is said to be the dihedral angle. In this dihedral angle, if it forms solids, what happens is hydrogen bonding is present. To form the hydrogen bonding, almost all regular structure, to form the regular structure, it needs a perfect regular shape. That shape is attained if it maintains the a proper angle, and that proper angle is coming from the number of bonds formed by the oxygen. Oxygen forms maximum 4 bonds. One is OH connectivity regular bond, another one is OO connectivity, and remaining 2 are the hydrogen bonds. So it want to make the regular structure. In order to make the regular structure, that bond angle adjusts, because these are not the same, because 2 are of hydrogen bonds, one is of OH bond, another is of OO bond. So therefore bond angle adjusts nearby 90, whereas in open structure that will be 130. Whereas OH bond, if it involves in hydrogen bonding which is present in solids, the electron density is enlarged in such a way that H is having lesser electron density, O is having more electron density. Enlargement leads to the higher bond length of OH. So therefore OH is having higher bond length, the same OH in the original vapor state is having lesser bond length. This is 145.8 picometers and this is 95 picometers. And next go for the OO bond length. Yes, if it is involved in hydrogen bonding, if it is not involved in hydrogen bonding. Not involved in hydrogen bonding, then what happens? Here it is having 2 lone pairs, here it is having 2 lone pairs, 4 lone pairs nearer to the 2 oxygen atoms. On the oxygen atoms, oxygen is also very small, lengthy repulsions are there, hence bond length increases. So therefore in the hydrogen bonding, bond length will be smaller, whereas the oxygen bond length will be more major in case of the vapor state due to interatomic repulsions between the 2 oxygen atoms holding of 2 plus 2, total 4 lone pair of electrons. And the last one is oxygen H bond. This oxygen H bond is higher in case of the solid structure compared to the vapor state, because here the lone pair repulsions are there. Similarly, this oxygen distance is also small, O and H distance is also small. Whereas in case of this particular hydrogen bonding structures, this lone pair repulsions are decreased to certain extent, hence bond angle will be somewhat higher, that is 101, and here it is found to be 94.8 minutes, 94 degrees 8 minutes. Such kind of structure and the structural features are there. Here the minimum things that we have to remember is what makes the difference at the bond lengths and the bond angles if it participates in hydrogen bonding, which is relatively higher in length and which is relatively higher at angle, and why so? Theoretically you could expect a reason behind the exact performance of the bond lengths and the bond angles of the structure. It becomes very easy. Thus once again I am making to your notice, OH bond length in hydrogen bonding structures will be higher. Similarly OO bond length will be smaller because more repulsions are there. Dihedral angle is smaller in case of the hydrogen bonding because it want to adjust a regular shape, whereas OH bond angle will be maximum in case of solid state compared to the hydrogen bonding, because hydrogen bond dominates, the lone pair repulsions and the lone pair bond pair repulsions decreases over here. Hence here it maintains, here in case of the solid state it dominates, so therefore the bond angle is maintained, that is 101.1 degrees, because originally that bond angle want to maintain as 180. Due to this lone pairs are there, the bond angle decreases, and due to the hydrogen bonding, the decrement will be enhanced to 101.9 degree, 101 degrees 9 minutes. A smart note on the benefit and the use of the hydrogen peroxide is hydrogen peroxide is acting as source of oxygen due to it is behaving as source of oxygen because hydrogen peroxide can be present in solid state. Hydrogen peroxide can be present in higher concentrations of the liquid state also. So small amount of liquid is acting as huge source of oxygen gas. Hence it is used for the treatment of the domestic wastages followed by the industrial wastages. Thus here it is used in pollution control, treatment of the domestic as well as the industrial effluents. Industrial effluent stands for the industrial wastages, whereas the oxidation of cyanides and oxidation of other very harmful organic radicals followed by the trapping of heavy metals, whereas in the restoration of the aerobic conditions for the sewage waste is oxidized with respect to the hydrogen peroxide. As a result, the unwanted, more reactive as well as the pollutant substances, what we can say, these of all will be oxidized and satisfied there, they will be converted to non-harmful substances. Thus, hydrogen peroxide main benefit is in treatment of industrial as well as the domestic effluents.